Welcome back to the channel, everybody. In today's video, I'm going to be bringing back the Ashened, but with a little bit of a twist. I recently discovered a great build with just a simple, small snake eye build. So without further ado, I'm going to show you the build and then show you a little test hand to show you how to get the combos off. To start, we are going with 3 copies of Priestess of the Ashen City. This card has the effect that if Officer Demon is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. And then when this card is no more special summon, you can add an Ashen card from your deck to your hand, except for itself. But you can only use that once per turn. Next, we're going to use 3 Vados, the Eruption Dragon of Destruction. Now, this is obviously standard that you want to run 3 Priestess and 3 Vados. Vados has the effect that during the main phase, if this card's in your hand, quick effect, you can target 1 card in the field zone, special summon this card to your opponent's field, and if you do destroy that card, then you get to add to your hand or set 1 Ashen Continuous Trap from your deck. But if this card is sent from the opponent's field to your graveyard, you can destroy all monsters on the field. So it's also a good dark hole. Next, we run 1 copy of Shaman of the Ashen City. This card has the effect that if the Officer Demon of the Ashen City is in the field zone, you can special summon this card from your hand. And you can target 3 of your power monsters that are banished and or in your graveyard, shuffle them back to the deck, and if you shuffle an Ashen monster, you can add Officer Demon of the Ashen City from your deck to your hand. So it's a recycle with a terraforming effect. Then, 1 copy of Spearhead of the Ashen City. If the Officer Demon of the Ashen City is in the field zone, you can special summon this card from your hand. If your opponent controls a monster with a 2800 attack or more, you contribute this card, then target 1 card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. Next, I play 1 copy of King of the Ashen City. If Officer Demon of the Ashen City is in the field zone, you can special summon this card from your hand. During the main phase, you can special summon 1 Ashen monster from your hand, except for King of the Ashen City, or if your opponent controls a monster with 2800 or more attack, you can special summon a monster from your deck instead. So this is how you want to get Hero of the Ashen City out, which is our next card. I run 2 copies of Hero of the Ashen City. If Officer Demon of the Ashen City is in the field zone, you can special summon this card from your hand. And during the main phase, quick effect, you can target 1 power monster on the field, destroy it, and if you destroyed Vados, the Eruption Dragon of Destruction by this card effect, you can place off the Ashen City from your deck face up in your field zone. That's it for the main deck of the Ashen cards. Now on to the extra deck of the extra monsters in the deck. 3 copies of the Bellstar, the Black Witch. You can special summon this card from your hand by sending 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard, and you can only special summon the Bellstar once per turn this way. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is normal special summon, you can set 1 Sinful Spoiler spell or trap directly from your deck. And during your opponent's turn, if this card is sent from its owner's field to the graveyard or hand, you can send 1 card you control to the field, 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card back. So she can come back just simply by attributing a card off the field, which also helps for board protection. Next is 1 Snake Eye Ash. Next, nice ban list. We only get to play 1 Ash and 1 Poplar, but that's actually all we need for this build. If this card is number of special summon, you can add 1 level 1 fire monster from your deck to your hand. You can send 2 face-up cards you control to the graveyard, including this card, and special summon 1 Snake Eye monster from your hand or deck, except for Snake Eye Ash. Then, 1 copy of the Snake Eyes Poplar. If this card is added to your hand, except by drawing it, you can special summon this card. If this card is number of special summon, you can add 1 Snake Eye spell or trap directly from your deck to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 fire monster in your graveyard, place it face up in its own spell and trap zone as a continuous spell, and you will use each effect once per turn. Then 1 copy of Snake Eyes Flamberge Dragon. You can target 1 face-up monster on the field or near the graveyard, place it face-up in its own spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. And during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target 1 monster treated as a continuous spell on the field and special summon it to your field. If this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, you can special summon 2 level 1 fire monsters from your graveyard. And now, because a lot of builds used to run the Droll and Lockbird because of Selene, But now, thanks to the Snake Eyes, you don't even need to run Selene anymore. So now I drop the Droll and I'm going straight for the Ash Blossom, which is the best hand trap in all of Yu-Gi-Oh!, which has the effect that when a card or effect is activated that includes these following effects. Quick effect, you can discard this card and negate the effect. So if someone tries to add a card from deck to hand, special summon from deck, or send a card from deck to graveyard, you can negate that effect, but only once per turn. That's it for the monsters. Here is the spells and traps. 3 Awakening of Vedas. Place 1 Obsidian, the Ashened City, from your deck face up in either field zone. Then, if your opponent controls a card in their field zone, you can add 1 level 5 or higher Dark Power monster from your deck to your hand. But for the rest of the turn, after this card effect resolves, you cannot special summon from the extra deck or the main deck, except for Power monsters. Next is 3 copies of the field sim. Obsidian, the Ashened City. Face up, special summon monsters your opponent controls become Pyro during your turn only. You can activate each of the following effects once per turn. During your end phase, you can target 1 Obsidian, the Ashened City, from your graveyard, place it on the bottom of your deck, and then draw 1 card. And if this card in the field zone is destroyed or banished, you can special summon 1 Ashened monster from your deck. Next up is 1 Rekindling of the Ashened. Place 1 of your Ashened cards that is banished or in your graveyard on the bottom of your main deck, except for itself. Then target 1 effect monster your opponent controls and negate its effects. So it's a recycler with an effect failure. Then we play 1 Extinguishing of the Ashened. This is the Foolish Burial of the deck. Send 1 Dark Power monster from your deck to your graveyard. Then you can add 1 level 5 or higher Power monster from your graveyard back to your hand. But for the rest of the turn after this card effect resolves, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except Power monsters. You can banish this card from your graveyard, fusion summon 1 Power Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material, and you can only use each effect once per turn. And of course, a standard Wanted Secret Sinful Spoils, you play 3 of these, so that way it's easier to get to your Dia Bellstar. Add 1 Dia Bellstar monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. During the main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 of your Sinful Spoils spells or traps that is banished or in your graveyard, except for Wanted Secret Sinful Spoils. Place it on the bottom of the deck and then draw 1 card. You can use each effect once per turn. And of course, the original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye has the effect to send 1 other face-up card you control to the graveyard, special summon 1 fire monster from your hand or deck. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Snake Eye or Dia Bellstar monster in your graveyard, add 1 level 1 fire monster from your deck to your hand, and then place that target monster on the bottom of the deck, but you can only use 1 effect per turn. And of course, I run 2 bonfires because the whole deck is Pyro. So you can either search for a level 4 or lower power monster, which could be Snake Eye Ash, Snake Eye Poplar, or any of the level 4 or lower Ashened City monsters. And then 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talents. Comes in real good handy if you need to draw into other cards, especially if you originally get ashed or effect failured. This card has the effect that if your opponent activates a monster effect during your main phase, you can either draw 2 cards, take control of 1 monster your opponent controls until the end phase, or look at your opponent's hand and choose 1 card from it to shuffle back into the deck. And because there are a lot of decks out there that run multiple hand traps, you always want to run at least 1 Called by the Grave. You can target 1 monster your opponent's graveyard and banish it, and if you do, until the end of the next turn, its effects are negated, as well as the activated effects of the effects on the field of monsters with the same original name. For the trap cards, we run 1 copy of Ashened for Eternity. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Vados Eruption Dragon of Extinction, or 1 Ashened monster from your graveyard to your hand. You can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls that you own, take control of that monster. Then you can make all face-up monsters your opponent controls currently lose attack equal to the targeted monster's original attack. This attack change lasts until the end of this turn, and you can only use this effect of Ashened for Eternity once per turn, and you can only activate 1 Ashened for Eternity per turn. And then the main trap of the deck, During the main phase, you can future summon one power fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from either field as material, including Vados the Eruption Dragon of Extinction. And if you do, it gains 500 attack for each material used. You can banish this card and one dark power monster from your graveyard. All monsters your opponent currently controls will become power monsters until the rest of this turn. And for the last of the cards, 3 copies of Infinite Permanence. Target one face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effects to the end of this turn, and if this card was set before activation and is on the field at resolution, for the rest of this turn, all other spells and traps in that column are negated. And if you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand, making this the second best hand trap of the game. That's it for the main deck. Now we'll get into the extra deck. For the extra deck, we run 1 copy of the Relinquished Anima. It takes 1 level 1 monster except a token. You can target 1 face-up monster this card points to. Equip that face-up monster to this card, max 1. You can only use the effect of Relinquished Anima once per turn. This card gains attack equal to that equipped monster. Basically, this monster is just used to steal monsters from your opponent, so that way they have a cleaner board. But it's also nice to have in case if they have anything that is weaker than the monster you take, and you can beat over it with that. We run 1 copy of the IP Masquerada. During your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect immediately after this effect resolves, link summon 1 link monster using materials you control, including this card. You can only use this effect once per turn. A link monster that has used this card as material cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Next, we play 1 copy of Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf. The first effect doesn't really matter, but the second effect is if you normally special summon a monster where this monster card points to, you can add a fire monster directly from your graveyard back to your hand. So it's a recycle card as well for graveyard. Then we play 1 copy of Hida, the Fire Charmer Ablaze. You can target 1 fire monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it to a zone this card points to. So basically, it'll help you go into a link 3. Then we run 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn. If this card is link summoned, you can discard 1 card, then target 1 card on the field and shuffle it back into the deck. Then if this card is co-linked when this effect was activated, you can draw a card. Next up, we run Promethean Princess, Bestower of Flames. You can special summon monsters except fire monsters. You can only use each effect once per turn. You can special summon 1 fire monster from your graveyard, and if a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field while this card's in your graveyard, except during a damage step, you can target 1 fire monster you control and 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy them, and then you can special summon this card from your graveyard. On to the Link 4s, we run 1 copy of Access Code Talker. If this card is link summoned, you can target 1 link monster that was used as material for this link summon. This card gains attack equal to that monster's link rating times 1,000. Your opponent cannot activate card effects in response to this effect activation. You can banish 1 link monster from your hand, from your field or graveyard, destroy 1 card your opponent controls, a non-target in effect. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot banish monsters with that same attribute to activate this effect. And now, when you have Promethean Princess on the field, the best way to get out of that Firelock is by linking into Salamangreat Raging Phoenix. This card has the ability that if a face-up fire monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card's in your graveyard, you can target 1 of those destroyed monsters, special summon this card, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to that monster's attack. And then the last link monster is a World Dragon Zealantis. I recently discovered that you can actually use a link for a monster to link into this monster because it takes 1+ effect monsters. You can only control 1 World Sea Dragon Zealantis. You can only use each effect once per turn. During the main phase, you can banish all monsters on the field, then special summon as many monsters as possible that were banished by this effect to the owner's fields. Face up or face down defense position. And during the battle phase, quick effect, you can destroy cards on the field up to the number of co-linked monsters you control on the field. we run one copy of Typhon, just in case if there is no out for Nibiru or anything else out there, or monsters your opponent may have 3,000 attack or more, will all be negated. Plus, you can detach material from this card, and then return one monster from the field to the hand as a non-target card, which means it works against like the Blue Eyes cards and basically any card that cannot be targeted. And for the rest of the extra deck is our fusions, which is 2 copies of Ambers of the Ashened. If this card is fusion summoned, you can target 1 field spell in your graveyard and add to your hand. To start a damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy that opponent's monster, and if you do this turn, it can make a second attack in a row. And then 3 copies of your big boss monster, Vados, the Dragon of Endless Darkness. Cannot be destroyed by card effects, and your opponent cannot target it with monster effects. If this card is fusion summoned, you can destroy all spells and traps your opponent controls, and when your opponent activates a card or effect on the field, quick effect, you can send 1 face-up Ashen card you control to the graveyard and destroy that card. Alright, now that we've gone through the deck here, I'm going to show you a play-by-play that I've taught myself to get a very strong board out. Alright, if you do this right, you might have a devastating end board on your first turn. Let's see what we got here. First, we're going to activate the Wanted. We're going to get the Bellstar the Black Witch from your deck. Going to add that to hand. Then we're going to just send, say, like Imperm to special summon. Then with that effect, you can set the original Cephalospore Snake Eye directly from your deck. And then you can activate it because it's not a quick play. We'll pitch the Bellstar, special summon out the Snake Eye Ash. Snake Eye Ash's effect allows you to add a level 1 fire monster from your deck to your hand, Poplar. Poplar's effect in hand activates because it was add to hand except by drawing it, it can be special summoned. Now, before I do anything else, just for fun, I'm going to banish the Wanted, place the original Cephalospore Snake Eyes on the bottom of the deck, and draw a new card. Oh, we drew Priestess. Good. Okay. I'm going to use Snake Eye Ash's effect. Special summon out from my deck Snake Eyes Flamber's Dragon. I'm going to normal summon Priestess of the Ashen City. Priestess is going to get me an Ashen card. For now, I guess we can just grab an Obsidian. Doesn't hurt to have. For the sake of argument, we're just going to go straight into Hida. Snake Eyes Flamber's Dragon's effect engrave. When it's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 2 level 1 fire monsters. So that gets you 2 more bodies on board. And now we can activate Snake Eye Ash's other effect. No, wait, Poplar's effect. With the card's normal special summon, you can add a Snake Eye spell or trap from your deck to hand. So we can always add that back for later. Though it's really not necessary since the only level 1 fire monsters in the entire deck are already on board and will be engraved by the end of this turn. We'll take these 2 and go straight into Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess will use the effect to bring back the Snake Eyes Flamber's Dragon. Let's put that right there. Now we're going to take these 2 to get out of our fire lock and go straight into Salamangreat Raging Phoenix. And to get ourselves our OTK board set up, we're going to link that off for the World Sea Dragons Atlantis. Okay. And with that, I'm going to activate Awaken the Vedas. I'm going to place Obsidian, the Ashen City, on the opponent's side of the field, And then I'm going to add Vados, the Eruption Dragon of Extinction, from my deck to my hand. Now I'm going to activate Vados effect. I'm going to target the opposite team on the opponent's side of the field. Place this on the opponent's side of the field. Destroy this. And then I'm going to set the Ashened to Endlessness from my deck. Now, with that being said, opposite team has the effect to special summon an Ashen monster from your deck. So we are going to grab ourselves... Where are you at? There's Hero. Oh, okay, never mind. We'll just bring out, let's say, Spearhead. I'm going to activate Extinguishing the Ashened. We're going to Foolish Burial a hero. And then add it to hand. We're going to activate Opposite Team. We're going to Special Summon King. King's effect. I'm going to use the effect to Special Summon the other hero. And right there, during your turn, you already have a board set up for your Ashen to Endlessness effect. Say we pass the turn, use Opposite Team's effect to place this one on the bottom of the deck, draw a new card. Let's see what we draw. Oh. Okay, so during the opponent's turn, say he special summons a monster. That triggers the Promethean Princess in graveyard. We're going to target the fire monster and the other monster, destroy both of them to special summon her out. Now, because I destroyed my own monster with a card effect, I can still activate Raging Phoenix effect in graveyard. So, I am going to target the destroyed monster, special summon this card below Zelantis, and then he's going to gain the 3,000 attack on top of his original attack. Then we're going to flip up the Ashen to Endlessness. We're going to take the Vados from him, plus the other 3 Ashen City monsters. And we're going to fusion summon into Vados, the Dragon of Endless Darkness. And just for fun, blows up the back row the opponent may or may not have had. And say if he tries to go to battle phase, you can activate Zelantis effect. Because he's co-linked with Raging Phoenix, you can destroy 1 card on the field. And then when it's your turn, just draw a card. Hope that he has a cleared board. And then just go straight for the OTK, which is 5,000, 58, 25, 27. And there you have it. That is Ashen Snake Eyes. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think about this build.